everybody, how's it going? So, a lot of people, I know we've all been talking a lot about the Demonswarm, the new deck that Chris Willett and I came up with that has been doing absolutely amazing in play tests. Currently, the deck, between Chris and I, we've accumulated a score of 99 wins and 9 losses. That's over 90% of the time we're winning the duel. That's going against all sorts of duelists, playing all sorts of decks, including and making sure to play the big ones. We've played and beaten Wind-Ups, Six Samurais, Dark Worlds, Dragon Chaos, everything. Dino Rabbit. We've beaten it all, and we win a lot more than we lose. And big question is, how in the heck were we able to do that with Yubel? So let's go ahead and talk about Yubel first. It's kind of cool. I get to do a deck profile on Yubel. I have my Yubels right here, and it's important really early on to understand that when we were trying to come up with a deck, we weren't trying to come up with a deck for Yubel. We were actually just trying to come up with a deck that would win in against meta decks and against what we're seeing out there, and we want to win more tournaments. So that's what we were trying to do, and it just happened to turn out that Yubel, who the normal level will run at 2, and then we're going to run the second level at 2, and the top level, the big guy, we're only going to run at 1. They just happened to fit into our concept really well, which was more the Inzectors, and a lot more of the deck is based on the Inzectors. But Yubel is the perfect counterbalance, because with the Inzectors we have the ability to destroy all sorts of stuff, we have the ability to swarm out there really fast, but there becomes a point when the Inzectors aren't quite enough, they don't quite get over that mark, and so when that happens, you fall back on the Yubel. The Yubel is the ultimate defense because it's still doing its thing, and there are a couple ways to take it down. We've actually built counters to those into our deck, and ways to speed up Yubel. One of the big things to remember with Inzectors is that Inzectors don't mind the field being reset constantly, because we're always trying to go for our Dragonfly, into our Centipede, and possibly even into a third monster. When you look at the deck in that aspect, you don't really worry about the Terror Incarnate so much blowing up the field every turn. He can't be destroyed by battle, so they have to go through a card effect. The card effect, as soon as it leaves the field, as long as it doesn't go back to the deck, it's the only way to stop this. As long as it doesn't go back to the deck, you'll special summon the Ultimate Nightmare. So we've watched our opponents try and remove the Terror Incarnate from play a lot. They've tried to bounce it back to the hand. They've tried all sorts of different things, and they don't realize that that's not going to stop it. Now, there is a chance that if it's tributed, that you can miss the timing, and so we do recommend that you shun away from tributing the Terror Incarnate. So I have a lot of cards here in front of me to kind of go over. I don't have every card in the deck yet, though. I'm currently waiting on just about 5 cards that are going to be in the mail to me, or are already in the mail to me. Chris is also waiting on a small handful of cards to finish his build. The biggest difference between Chris and my build comes down to one card, and that was a tuner choice. We both knew that we needed a dark level 3 tuner that had a good secondary effect. Chris initially chose Blackwing Gale the Whirlwind because it has a wonderful effect of being able to cut your opponent's monster's attack in half, which means that a lot of the Inzectors, which are smaller monsters, can get over the bigger monsters like the Blackluster Soldier or the Judgment Dragon. I, on the other hand, tried to stick more with what I was doing in the actual deck already, and I went with Gen X Ally Birdman. Gen X Ally Birdman has some wonderful effects, and the one that I really like to utilize is a combo revolving, starting with this card, Limit Reverse, a wonderful underrated common that we've all seen Chris use and abuse on multiple occasions, and of course U-Bell. So it's not hard to get a U-Bell into the graveyard. We're running Dark Grepher, we're also running magic cards like Foolish Burial. Not a difficult thing to get a U-Bell into the graveyard. When you activate the Limit Reverse, U-Bell comes back because it has 0 attack points. It cannot be destroyed by battle, and your opponent doesn't really want to attack it. If you do this during the battle phase, you can effectively stop your opponent from attacking you at all. It's really wonderful. What's also great about this is if you're playing against Insectors in a mirror match, you are not trying to keep this card around. The U-Bell is not meant to stay in the field. As a matter of fact, it's just a gateway to what we're really trying to do, and that's get to the Terror Incarnate for the field reset. That way we can take out all 3 of those Zen Mannies that they managed to special summon in one turn with the Rat Shark loop, or we can take out their Dragonflies and Centipedes, or we can take out their Lagias and Dolkas. We'll get into how to beat the how to specifically beat the Dino Rabbit matchup probably in a different video, because that is a little bit more complicated. You actually do have to know some specific tricks to defeat the Dino Rabbit build, but Chris and I have actually both played with U-Bell specifically enough that matchup we can usually win. Anyway, getting back to this. If they do not destroy your Limit Reverse by MST or Fire Hornet or what have you, you can go ahead and you can switch your U-Bell to defense mode. This is why we usually like to activate this at the latest during the end phase of our opponent's turn, so that we can manually do the position change on our turn. When this switches to defense mode, the effective Limit Reverse says that this is destroyed. So we're going to send our U-Bell to the graveyard, which means that we can automatically summon the Terror Incarnate. Now here comes the Gen X Ally Birdman. By returning this Terror Incarnate to our hand, we can special summon the Birdman, which is a really nice way to just put our Birdman onto the field. It doesn't use up our normal summon. And when this happens, and this leaves the field, that means we're going to go ahead and special summon the Ultimate Nightmare. Now we have a very devastating monster. Still can't be destroyed by battle. We're going to have to go through another card effect to do it. And he can do a lot of damage with his effect, which if he attacks a monster or actually does any battle with a monster, the monster will be destroyed and your opponent will lose whatever that monster's attack was and damage their life points. So that already we've now special summoned out our highest level, and we've got our Gen X Ally Birdman sitting here. And now a lot of times we like to combo I like to combo this play with a Dark Grepher play, and this is where I will discard my Terror Incarnate that I just brought back to my hand to either special summon the Dark Grepher or to usually to special summon the Dark Grepher because I don't always have a Hornet in my graveyard. As soon as I do this, I can set up a Dragonfly Hornet loop that will end up letting me have a total of 5 monsters on the field. 3 of them are level 3s, which makes it really easy to go into a Bryonic or a Mistworm. If you play Mistworm, you can go into Terror Bite if you play Terror Bite. The ones I usually like to go, I usually go into an Acid Golem myself, because I like to only give up 2 and to be able to boost up to 3,000, and then I can usually put a Gigamantis on whichever one I have left out there.